What's going on, guys? Good morning. We got a nice little live trade setup starting to form right here around 20,400. Great psychological half whole dollar number. And we still have some algo derived targets for me upwards of 20,437, 20,457. Okay, so we just made a live trade video on one other scalp that we had here, and we're just starting to hold that 20,400 psych level. So I do like to kind of sneak in here with just a couple. And wait for that 20,400 confirmation. We got good MACD crossing here. We got micro higher high in the sequence of consolidation. We do have a really good Fibonacci hit here as well, 492.41. And good things in the market like to come in threes. So when a big dump like this happened, you notice the base push one. We're in push two, looking for a higher high. Then we should have push three to kind of net us back up towards that 100 EMA and some of those algos. Now, I'm only going to go for about 20,440, 20,437. We'll kind of see how it goes. And any holds of the 20,400 here, that's a good psychological half whole dollar. And accompanied by our indicators here looking to get into the top channels of bullish narrative. We'll probably run this for a little bit, but we are going to start small per usual. SPY's got a nice base at yesterday's lows, as you can see there as well. So hopefully the indices work together here on the push. So stop out obviously is going to be cutting down under 20,400 pretty aggressively. I'm not really going to worry about it too much right now, especially with no real size. So this size is pretty small. Just firing up the large account here for the morning. Finished up a lot of the prop accounts already here in pre. And I think we do have a little bit of a continuation metric here. So right now, obviously mini uptrend, no reversal trend, but push one, higher low, push two. And we are in a micro higher high. So trend is at least with us in the short term. MACD's with us in the short term. RSI as well. And again, looking for back testing confirmations of certain moving averages and so on and so forth would be nice. So if we go to the 1 minute chart here on the Qs, there we go. You can see that we had ran away from that 200 SMA for quite some time. We had a little bit of a head and shoulder here. Not my favorite pattern at all, but the 200 SMA in the salmon color peach and that 666 SMA also lost out pretty good. Now, we have live tags of all this, so we're not looking for direct magnets, but as trend states, once we hit a base like on a Fibonacci like this, we create a higher low structure here. At least we have a chance to bounce back up to that moving average. Now, it doesn't matter what it does after that bounce moving average, as it rips back up to try and start trend reversal, because we did start to hold, which I'm long biased here today for at least the scalp opening morning, since we like to base around that like 3, 4 a.m. after the China moves on the futures. So a lot of the times we see that. This is a pretty big zone that we had for an algo here yesterday. You can check our recap videos as well. And as we move into, territory of multiple supports from prior days, we are at limited risk to, again, take on some of these trades, back testing some of these moving averages. Now, again, we're not really looking for anything too crazy. These scalp ups are relatively good just to, get some good base hits to start the day, right? So even if we cruise back up to that 100 EMA, get into that 20,430s, and we have algos up to 37 and just about 440. So that's probably going to be my target for these. And when something breaks back to that upside here, I generally like to cover a little bit into like fresh highs. I have 2 different accounts on this one right now. Already posted in my Discord chat to catch this at 20,400 chat for my team. So hopefully they're awake and ready. 6:14. We're getting pretty far into the pre-market, so we do have a lot of opportunity here. But yeah, right now a fresh high out of sequence, break out of this little double top associated with this higher low. Looks like a very good trend play. Again, MAC RSI working with us. So let's see where this one goes. I wouldn't mind a couple wick fishers, down here, like to test that 20,500. So, buying something, or not 500, 400, buying something close to that, 20,000, 399.75, or even if we get a wild wick down here. Sub 20,400. We call these fishing orders, and I like to put those out every once in a while because the little blip action, on that 1 minute chart where the market likes to cut down or kind of spook out the novice traders that may have purchased a high breakout here and then, have just the most micro stop loss available to man, and well, unfortunately those don't play out all that well. So we got a good amount of room if we get a speed breakout here on that MACD coming back to the max center line. So right now you see the MACD on that cross is getting a little ugly there for a little bit, but that 5 a.m. Came in at a low for the MAC, and then I like to see that 4 or 5 a.m. start to really base a lot of the time in pre-market. It's a good area central time. So when that happened here, it does give us an opportunity to get speed and kind of move up to 100 EMA and above. And of course, we always get out a little bit early because we generally like to lock in, but I think we should be pretty easy on these algo targets here. And again, even from right now, we're looking at 18 to 25 points. So that's not a slouch trade by any means, because you got $40 a point on NQ, and if you rock 25 of those, that's $1,000, right? So it's a really nice move to rock, right? So I'm going to put some sale orders out, 20,000, probably 435 area, right before that 100 EMA. That's my general rule of thumb. Get out a little ahead of time. And we are on a decent setup here. We just got to see if there's going to be the flow continuation with speed, right? Because if the MACD is kind of scamming right now and it doesn't want to let the price action kind of breathe at upside some speed, well, so be it. But we do have a good fib support coming off lows to higher low sequence. We do have really good RSI and MAC. MAC does have room to that zero line, so those moving averages are crossed, and it will find temporary resistance a lot of the time coming into the zero line. So when we look at these trades, we need to see that the indicators still have a little bit of leg room up to resistance before they could potentially pull back. So we want to be aware of how far those indicators are stretched out. So we'll leave it with that. That's the whole trade plan. To cut these videos a little shorter, I'll jump back in when we push for that fill, and we'll go over the rest in a little bit here. All right, guys, so as we discussed, we'll pop back in after the trade starts completing itself here. Again, no real changes here. Everything is going according to plan. RSI breaking through that 50 point. MACD still has room to that zero line as we discussed. And my algo targets, which we are getting out a little bit early as always, are coming up. So orders have been out. Nothing has changed, as you can see in the screen here. I will delete these fishing orders here because our fishing orders are obviously not going to get filled. But collectively, we had the exact idea we needed here. And we still have room to algo pushes, right? So a little bit more into the 20,000, like 430 range here. And we'll start to see, I think, a good amount of squeeze here coming up quick. Close out some of the options trades here. We're also riding up some NQ options here. And a bunch of accounts here cruising on the day. Pretty good. Nothing crazy. About $500-600 over there. 1,000 here. A couple thousand on the Apex. We're all over the place. Well, I like the multi-account here. Teach a lot of different structures. So volatility index, also a big help for this long, as we discussed in our last live trade video. I'll throw one in the link in the description if you want to check out more live trading videos. But double tapped on that VIX. We did discuss the standard deviation in the last video on the +1 from the 0 level and the -1. So MACD has crossed to the downside on that 5 minute. We got the double top. We talked about how the standard deviation +1 ends up being a very good over under and resistance, right? So generally speaking, when we do get in range of that +1 off regular technical analysis, and we don't have any world news, CPI, Powell to kind of bully the technical analysis indicators into doing something that they don't want to do, we will generally get them pretty clean, cut, and clear. So right now, we're probably going to get a little slowdown. There's our first algo, 20,430, but the VIX is kind of coming into that 50 RSI right here. That's a temporary support, or can be. We'll see if there's a little bit of a slowdown. I'm not too worried about that. At the moment, like I said, though, we're going to push up to a 3 up, as we discussed in that first push. 1, we're on push 2. Then again, we do have availability for a third push, and we could start seeing those back testing and moving averages, like we said, 100, 666. We just hit that fresh algo target there of 20,429. That is one of the hits that we had there. 20,438 would be coming up next, but again, generally I like to get out a little early, so I'll keep these on for now. I'll just let this thing work because it's working out pretty decent. And then if we do get a kind of continuation push, we just got to be playing the field, right? And the MACD, like we said, is coming into that zero line. So this can create static resistance a little bit, slow us down just a little bit as the MACD, because the RSI is always a tad bit faster, will usually slow down at that zero line, just like the VIX would slow down a little bit right here. And you can see that 50 halfway point on the RSI was hit. See a little hesitation. Now the MACD's turn to hit a little resistance. We can see a little hesitation before those moving averages hit. These oscillation indicators, generally pretty tame. And again, 3 up is pretty normal for moves. So again, base 1 push, base 2 push, and then if it does come back down for a third base, for a third push to get back up into the moving averages range, maybe back to that next fib of 493.57, great. If not, we'll fill out right here at 20,432.75 and some change and get our little $1,000 or so as initially planned. So again, we already hit that algo here, so not sure if we're gonna see, just a simple continuation where you see squeeze pass and it starts really pushing through the MACD and there's no resistance at the MACD, which, doesn't matter. The market can always do what it wants. We're just planning our zero risk investment trades here. So, but everything's going according to plan, and we'll see hopefully this fill in just a smidge here. Slow and steady. Again, we're just looking for that nice little quick snap up here. Fill those orders and be on our way to the next limited risk trade. All the fun. We'll see if we get these here. Give it a couple minutes, just watching. I know sometimes that'll drag the video out, but it's hard to come back and forth to catch these darn things. Sometimes they just squeeze so fast. There we go, pushing through the algo. There's one order fill. So a little bit more to the next. Algo should speed up a little bit here. It just pushed, finding a little bit of a big W play here. And again, I might just close this one out because I do generally like to get out very close. We're up 25 points from our call right now, so we're doing fantastic on profit take. We're at $1,006 green on this account now. Just single 2 NQ trade, nice and stress-free to the upside, limited risk reversals. And yeah, let this guy fill out here, hopefully. Option prices are spiking pretty good here too. I like that. That means we're gonna front run a little bit of the move, I think, here. Get a little more speed. I'm gonna close out the rest of these options here. $430 on the smalls. VIX still on that way down, still has room. And I'll complete this one at about $1,000 and just let her do its thing. Now this will pop, most likely. I have a bunch of contracts on my huge account here yet. Rolling up, we have 6 NQs over here, open P&L of about 3,900. So despite, because we trade through the Ninja Trader, our Apex accounts and our my live large future accounts here. So we can swap back and forth really easily through Ninja Trader, which is nice. So I'm going to focus on the big account that has a lot more contracts open. Lock in the nice little $1,000 on this one. Because again, we could get that 3 up. And thanks for tuning in for another live. We'll catch you on the next.